Hello, everyone. It is so lovely to see some of you joining already. I'm just waiting for our guest for today to join us now. Hello, so lovely to see you, Jess.
Hi, you too.
How are you going today?
Good, very well, thank you. I can't believe it's Friday already. How have you
I
been?
know, amazing. Well, I'm excited to finally meet you. To everyone watching today, welcome to Ruby Soda TV. We are here today with Jessica from JT Luxe, which is a beautiful jewelry brand. So, Jess, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself, how you started your brand, JT Luxe, and yeah, what made you want to start a business in jewelry and where that interest came from?
Yeah, absolutely. For reference, I'm 25 now. So back when I was 19, my favorite way to dress up was a pair of statement earrings. So I'm not sure if you recall all those years ago, the massive ones with the tassels and the bright colors.
Yeah,
Rewear the same clothes, but I would get a new pair of earrings every single weekend. So you could imagine what my collection was like.
yeah.
I was so proud of it. Um, so yeah, I guess it sort of started that way. I've always loved to accessorize with like those sorts of pieces,
Mm.
and then the opportunity arose to become a retailer for the company that I was purchasing all my individual earrings from at the time. And I'd always
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
start
that's
it,
cool.
but I'd never sort of sat down and was like, right, this is what I'm going to do. So it's quite organic in a way because it was something that I obviously loved myself. And then when that opportunity arose, I was like, I'm just going to give it a shot because I knew I loved
Yeah,
it.
why not? That's amazing.
Yeah, I was like, why not? So I used that retailer for a few years. And then I guess as the time went on, the styles changed and I was sort of not buying those pieces that you only wear once anymore. I was buying ones that you would rewear time and time again. I guess that's sort of what JT Luxe is as a brand. It's timeless pieces that you will have for a long time, not that one time wear item. So now I work with my own manufacturers and do all of my own collections. So yeah, it's been
That's
a
amazing.
big
Mm.
change over the past few years, but yeah, I love what I do. So it's great.
Yeah, of course. It's a big jump, especially going into full-time work in that is incredible to see you just going for it. And I've seen some of your pieces. They are absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Gold is definitely really in at the moment too.
Yes.
I think you're wearing a couple of your pieces right now, right?
Yes, this is my favorite, the
Yeah,
golden
beautiful.
pearls. Combines my two favorite things, pearls and gold. So,
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. And I believe that you do a lot of work in your business all on your own. So what overall is your role within your brand?
but
And yeah, how have you found that so far?
I might need to write you a list. No, so it's everything. So across obviously like the collections. So that includes like the inventory management, designing the new collections, organizing all that sort of things, and then social media is probably aside from packaging orders, the biggest part of the business and probably what I spend most time on. It's also quite
Mm.
enjoyable too because you get to meet a lot of new people through it, which is great. And then everything in between, accounting, you name it, I'm doing it.
Yeah. Wow.
Too busy. I thrive off being busy. So,
Mm.
and I think, I'm sure other business owners will agree, being across everything. I like to know exactly what's going on in every area as well. So it's good
That's
in that
good. Yeah.
sense. Sometimes it does get a bit much. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to handball something, but I'm so attached to it. So I'm like, oh, just keep doing
Yeah.
it myself. But no,
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what works best for your business as well. So you already have like your process down pat and it's quite efficient, I'd imagine.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Apps help with that for sure. Lots of automations, like in terms of like the
Yeah.
accounting and shipping and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
lots of fun. Challenging, but lots of fun.
That's good. That's good. And yeah, obviously having so many different hats to put on, I'm sure there's struggles, but there's also a lot of highlights in there too. Would you like to share what some of those have been?
Yeah, definitely. So across I think especially the last few years, so I went full time in my business in 2020, which was definitely a highlight for me. So I was working on the business during the day, and I had a casual job at night time. So it got to the point where I could finally just focus on the business itself, and
Mm.
that's definitely been, I think, a highlight for me overall was being able to do it full time. Um, but there's been a few sort of business highlights, I suppose. So Chopo, the online retailer. So I stopped on there for a while. That was a massive highlight.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was so surreal. I was like, oh my gosh, because I've shopped on Chopo for years. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's such a massive brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a pinch me moment for sure. So that was definitely a massive highlight.
Yeah.
And then being on The Bachelor, a few of the ladies wore my earrings on The Bachelor too.
Oh
But
my gosh.
yeah,
Wow.
that was another.
Okay, that's some pretty amazing highlights there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, lots of highlights. But I guess just in general, sort of day to day, I think it's like having your own business, although it's really challenging, it's also extremely rewarding. It's sort of what you put in, you get out. So I
Yeah, of
love this
course. Yeah.
sense because sky's the limit, really.
Mm. And being like an entrepreneur at such a young age too is quite the feat, especially going through everything with COVID lockdowns. A lot of businesses have suffered, and I love supporting local businesses. And I know that you also have your own like sustainable initiatives and stuff like that as well. So it's amazing to see you putting a lot out there and giving back so much to the community, but also trying to make that difference and making sure that people are being able to purchase, like you said earlier, like items that they can keep forever. And I think there really is a lot more sentimentality to that sort of idea as well. So yeah, I'm really proud of how far you've come a lot.
Yeah, that's,
And yeah,
but yeah, I think
and
in terms of like the pieces you can keep forever and sustainability, like trends come and go so quickly. Like, and it's,
mm,
yeah, pieces
I
wear time and time again. I mean, like, mind you, as I said before, the earrings that I used to purchase, I would wear once because they were bright pink. And like, imagine how much money
yeah,
you buy a pair of earrings every single time and wear them once. So, yeah, that's what I sort of base all my collections on moving forward. There was one that I did with bright colors just recently, and because it was a little bit off brand, it didn't do as well. So
oh,
that was a
okay,
lesson
yeah, yeah.
learned. I was like, stick to the
Yeah, I honestly thought
timeless
it would
thing.
have worked well because like a bit of pop of color is nice, especially in the
Mm,
summer. But yeah, that's quite interesting to learn. But you've got to try new things.
yeah,
You have to try and push outside of your boundaries every now and then.
yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah,
Out
yeah.
of the
And have
comfort
you gone
zone.
through any? Yeah, yeah. And obviously, there's not everything's always so positive. What sort of other struggles have you been through, and how have you been able to come out on the other side of that?
I think a big one, especially at the moment in the social media space, is keeping up with all of the immense changes, like TikTok, for
Mm.
example. I have
Oh, yeah,
been, I've been trying to navigate the TikTok world. I do make a fool of myself sometimes, but I think that's all part of it. I think there's been such a change in like the social media landscape, especially like mainly with the introduction of TikTok. And I think especially across the influencer space as well, there's a lot more influencers out there now that aren't sort of your typical massive platform influencers. And I think TikTok's been
yeah,
a massive part of that because people they don't need that massive following to start building an audience. Like it's a lot more
yeah,
authentic as well. So I think that's been a massive change, a welcome change because it's exciting and like keeping up
yeah,
with
definitely.
these things,
Yeah.
although challenging, definitely keeps me on my toes. But once you start sort of figuring it out, it's quite rewarding. But yeah, I think that would be the main struggle and imposter syndrome sometimes too, because you're just by like doing everything by yourself. You're like, am I actually doing this well? Because I think you sort of
Yeah,
sometimes go through the motions and without like I guess working alone, you don't have anyone next to you being like, oh, that's actually really good or anything like that. You just sort of
yeah.
have to go through your own opinions and things like that. So that can be challenging sometimes, but
Mhm.
all lessons learned, as we said before. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
of course. And from what I've seen on your Instagram page, like it honestly looks really professional.
Thank you.
The quality is amazing, and it's cool to see you posting a bit of behind the scenes and I guess what your day-to-day roles are like. Yeah, I think a lot of people are interested to see what your life is like, not just the brand itself. So it's
Yeah,
great to see that content. Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's
of course you can get as creative
I
as
love
you like.
that. Like seeing what behind the scenes, and I think I'm mentioning TikTok again, but I think that's helped with that too because it's so much more authentic. It's not just the polished version of the
Mm,
brand, like photo shoots and things like that. It is just your day to day, and I love filming
yeah,
myself packing orders, like so people can actually see the process because obviously you don't
yeah,
really
yeah,
see it any other way, and people wouldn't really know. I mean, people are always like, "Oh, hi team," when they email me and they don't know it's just me. But now that I'm sort of
yeah, of course,
sharing a bit
yeah.
more, it's more personal as well. It's more personal experience between me and my customers because they know every time that they email me or message me on Instagram that they're getting me. So I like it in that
Yeah,
sense
of
too.
course. Yeah, that's amazing. It's hard to come across businesses who are actually really passionate about the people that they're selling their products to. It's really important to have that relationship. I personally like that as my brand. So yeah, I think it's amazing that you're doing that and to have that personal touch. Even your little handwritten notes that you have, I
Yes,
think that's
I will
really
never
wonderful.
stop the handwritten notes. One time I packaged, I think it was 120 orders across the weekend, and I think I
Wow.
spent over an hour just writing the notes. But I was like, I'm not writing the notes. I love the notes.
Yeah, well, it's amazing commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously, yeah, social media is such a huge role. Fashion influencing is really, really important. And I think you were sort of mentioning, hinting before at some of the struggles with those. Is there anything else you'd like to sort of talk about in regards to how it's been working with influencers in your business?
Yeah, definitely. I think working with influencers has always, like, I started 5 years ago now, and it's definitely always been a priority. But I think over the years, since social media has become so much bigger, it has been
Yeah.
increasingly, I guess, more difficult to find those influencers that you really connect with, from a brand
Yeah.
point, and ones that have a really engaged audience that also work well with the brand. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit of a process, although I've worked with some amazing influencers over the years. But I think, especially now, content creators are becoming more increasingly popular too. So you're not just looking for an influencer as such for their audience, but for their quality of content as well. So there's a lot of
Yeah. Yeah.
variables to sort of think about as you're navigating through trying to find
Yeah.
people to work with. But yeah, it can be extremely rewarding as well.
Mm. Because yeah, you never like you can see someone's page and think it's amazing, they have the same values, but it's hard to make sure that you know that if you're going to give them products to help promote for you, that they will, I guess, produce content that's to your standard and that's in a timely manner as well. Because I think that's really important and out of respect to businesses to be able to produce the exact content that they need and that fits in with their brand, not just theirs. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've some influencers that I've worked with multiple times, I now talk to like they're my friend. So it's
it's
great, like
amazing.
building relationships like that as
Mhm.
well. And like, I guess I use the term meeting loosely because obviously it's all online, but
Yeah.
communicating with all these like amazing, like I do work with women specifically for my jewelry. Yeah, and building relationships with them and like learning more about them and their lives as influencers as well. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you can really learn a lot from them. And just seeing into their world can help you, I guess, finesse certain aspects of your own brand, which
Yeah,
I think is pretty cool. And it's really important these days to have those sort of connections, even if it is online, especially going through the lockdowns. It's really important to have somebody there in your support network. So
yeah,
I'm really happy that you have that. Yeah.
yeah. It's great. I couldn't imagine not using influencers at all.
Yeah.
I think
So
especially
important.
like word of mouth. Like I know
Mhm. Yeah.
personally when I shop, if I'm looking for an outfit, I'll go to my favorite influencers and I'll be like, what have they worn lately? Because I trust
Yeah.
that what they're wearing, they're obviously they're not going to wear it if they don't absolutely love it, especially when they're putting an outfit
Yeah.
together. So yeah, that's where I go for
Mhm.
my inspiration. So that's from a brand owner's perspective. I'm like, well, I would want to work with influencers that genuinely love the brand and that are going to wear it all
Yeah.
the time, not just wear it for a
Yeah.
wear
Yeah.
it for a post that I paid for, sort of thing. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm definitely tempted to buy some of your pieces. Like they're very beautiful.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you, thanks so
That's all
much.
right. Yeah. And I heard that you've also recently worked on a campaign with Ruby Soda.
Yes,
So what was involved in that, and how was that experience for you?
it was amazing. I think a platform such as Ruby Soda really bridges all the gaps between the brand and the influencer itself. So prior to Ruby Soda, I was reaching out to influencers myself and just essentially introducing myself, introducing the brand. And then if they were interested in working with me, it was sort of going back and forth, the ins and outs, like what sort of content I'd like, the pieces,
Yeah.
the cost if there was one, for posting and timeframes and things like that. Um,
Mm.
However, like time aside, because like when you're going back and forth with someone in those sorts of communications, it can be quite a lengthy exchange. Um,
Yeah.
I think sometimes, how can I word it? working with, say, for a gifted collaboration, there's no contract or anything like that in place. So I could have sent an influencer a parcel with some jewelry in it, but there's no obligation for them to post because it's not
Okay. Yeah.
paid content. Whereas Ruby Soda sort of has that in place where it's amazing for the brand and amazing for the influencer as well. So it sort of works both ways, and it's quite in terms of like what I was mentioning before with the outfits. Ruby Soda, you'll have the influencer wearing a complete look. So you'll have
Yes.
the customer go and be like, wow, that necklace looks amazing with those earrings and that dress. I want it all.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense as well, it's amazing because I'm quite a visual person myself. Like I like to see a whole outfit together before I commit to the buy. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
yeah, I'm so visual, and most of the time, like with my favorite influencers, I'll be like, wow, I want her whole outfit. So having a
Yeah.
platform where you can see all the like the dress, the jewelry, the shoes, all in the one place, like a one-stop shop sort of thing, from a consumer's
Yeah.
point of view too, is amazing, let alone the brand and the influencers. So yeah, I love the
Mm.
concept. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's amazing too. It is quite a niche sort of gap to fill, so it's awesome to see them doing that sort of work. And to see brands like you are really getting a lot of benefits out of it, as well as the influencers and models and those working with them. Um, but yeah, like you've seen those videos where people order things online and they're completely different to how they looked. So
Mm,
it is really important from, like you said, the consumer's point of view that they can see that the products are reliable, that they are great quality, and that they look amazing. So,
yeah,
yeah, I really see your point of view on that. Mm.
yeah, for sure. I think it's more authentic to having something like that rather than me say pay upfront for a post. Like the influencer might not absolutely love the brand, but because it is a paid collaboration, it's like they're more, enticed to post even if they're not obsessed with it. Whereas I think with the
Mm.
Ruby Soda concept, it sort of takes that out of the picture, so it's more authentic, I feel. And I feel like the
Yeah.
customer would see that also. So yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I love seeing that people are more and more interested in authenticity, and the more people that we have supporting that, obviously, the more brands and more influencers that will want to strive for that. So yeah, by the sounds of it, you're doing incredible. Obviously, it's definitely challenging. You're doing a lot of hard work, I can imagine. But yeah, you're doing incredible, and I'm so glad that you could come here today to talk to us a bit about your brand, and of course how it's been with Ruby Soda. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks so much for the chat.
No, that's okay. Thank you. And I hope you have a lovely night and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Go
You too.
Friday.
I know. I can't believe it's Friday still. I'm like, I feel like I should be doing work after this, even though it's like 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, it's good to give yourself a break. So, yeah, enjoy it.
True. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for joining. And of course, a special thank you to Jessica. Definitely check out her Instagram page, JT Luxe, and give her all of the love and support. We definitely need that for our local businesses. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.